Sevenoaks School has a strong relationship with Sevenoaks Welcomes Refugees, and this is a great opportunity for you to get involved and learn more about refugees during Refugee Week, with the theme in the UK being We Cannot Walk Alone. Please use Refugee Action or Empathy Action websites. This week is about celebrating the contributions, creativity and resilience of refugees, whose freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone, said Martin Luther King. This is ideally a bold collective act of reaching out, a space for us all to listen, exchange and connect. And those words are from Counterpoint Arts, who've created Refugee Week. So it is really about that act of reaching out, listening, exchanging and connecting. How we can do that in art, we'll do it in two different ways. The first is that we would like as many different feet as possible. So the foot being the most simple example of walking in terms of we cannot walk alone, please use one colour palette. So if you're using oranges, then obviously orange, yellow and red. If you're using greens, then perhaps greens, yellows and the start of the blue range, and so on, so that each of these feet will come to us designed by lots of different people, and it's just a cutout of your foot. It doesn't need to be on colour paper, it can be on white paper, but you've coloured it thoroughly, created pattern work over it, and we're going to turn it into a beautiful mural which we can all share together. So that's the first thing we're going to do. That's not part of the competition. The second part is the competition, and think about working collectively with other people. Is that your family? Is it friends? Is it your tutor group? Is it a whole year group? How can you do that where you each have a voice in creating a piece of collaborative art? And does it mean that some people have more voice than others? It may be you work with only one other person because you have a similar style, or you want to embrace their style in your work. It may be that you just choose to use a different colour pen each in your work. You might decide you want to work on some cards and paint them all initially the same colour as a background. You could work in a strip where the images line up together and your imagery connects, whether that's in a strip or whether you turn it into a rectangle or a square. Any of those things would be absolutely fine. You can do this as a whole class, or you could do it as 3 or 4 students together, or 3 or 4 family members together. Equally, you might decide you want to use some ideas from this amazing book, Line Let Loose. This is where different people had a different colour and each of their images was scanned and layered together on top of each other. You might decide you want to work on top of a drawing that already exists, on top of a piece of artwork that already exists, or on top of a photograph that already exists, and develop that further. Lots of ideas on one page can be really exciting. You might work in a poetry book or in a book that has text in it and do some illustrations directly onto the page. That might give you some ideas. You might decide you want to work with the story of a refugee, in which case I would definitely go back to those websites, Refugee Action and Empathy Action, and most importantly, enjoy.